Cards to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins, located on 1488, right next to a big old movie theater. I'm Chaz Graves, and here with me today, Preston Laird and Mark Blair.
Hey Chaz, thanks for that introduction. I'm Mark along with Preston. This is Cards to Yards, where we talk about all things sports, cards, and sports. Yeah. We're here at the Adventure Stadium at Adventure Begins Comics and Games. We were here, through the grand opening. I bet people are going crazy holiday shopping.
Yeah, it's been pretty nuts in here. Lots of happy folks going to be getting plenty of goodies in their stockings, that's for sure.
It is for sure better than waiting for your cardboard to come in the mail.
You got that right.
Pun intended, because there's lots of cardboard shipping boxes as well. Something else that's shipped during the holidays is postcards.
Yeah.
Postcards and Christmas cards. One thing you wouldn't want to do, though, is send a Ty Cobb postcard to your grandma for Christmas.
No? Why is that?
I mean, unless it was certified mail and PSA graded.
Okay.
Because
I get you.
Because there's one up for auction that there's only about 15 of in the world, and it's going to go for an estimated $30,000 when the auction hits in 2022 for a postcard.
Is that with the stamp or without?
I think it's without.
Okay.
It is a Wolverine News postcard. It is graded a 1.5, which most of the time we just throw those in the trash, right? But not this one.
Yeah.
Like I said, estimated value $30,000, but we're always talking about auctions and memorabilia, and there's other types of cardboard than cards.
That's right. And I think that card's from 1907. If I'm not mistaken?
It is.
Wow.
It is an old one. One of only 9 on SGC's population report, and PSA has graded just 7.
It's amazing.
So that's part of the January 27th to 28th Heritage Winter Sports Card Auction if you want one of the most expensive postcards you could ever buy.
And really, $30,000, that's a bargain.
That's a bargain.
When you talk about other high-end collectibles from that era.
Complete bargain. But hey, speaking of high-end collectibles and grading, you guys got your first HGA 10.
Yes. Our first HGA 10 pristine Tyrese Maxey out of 5. Just absolutely gorgeous card.
And that is a clear acetate.
Yep.
And those are so hard to get perfect grades on because those are so hard to get perfect grades on.
Yes.
Because of the surface scratching,
Yep.
just any sort of, obviously the grader can hold it up to the light very easily and see any imperfections. Mm-hmm. So that's an amazing card.
Yeah, we've sent probably close to 250 cards in the last couple of months, and this is the very first 10 that we've got. We've had a few that were close, but this is the first 10, and the proud owner of that is Mr. Blake Wilcox. So shout out to you, Blake. Thanks for using us for HGA, and congrats on your pristine Maxey.
Fantastic. It's such a good card at the highest grade you can get from an up-and-coming card grading company.
Yep.
Just
very strict.
Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of other collectibles, so, winter's winding down, the NFL season's winding down, but that means card prices are going to start heating up again as we get to January. Usually card prices peak if you don't know, when the season starts. Yep. And then maybe something that happened over the weekend, like Pro Bowl announcements or things like that. But then, of course, the playoff teams. One guy that's standing out right now is Mac Jones from the Patriots, right?
Absolutely.
And we talked about that game where he threw 2 or 3 passes or whatever it was.
3 passes, yeah.
And that did not hurt his card value at all.
Nope.
And I think one of the hot cards right now is just the regular Donruss rated rookie. The last 5 sales I saw averaged out to $30.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. When it comes to a rookie card, though, obviously you would love to pull a 101, right?
Sure.
But if you can't do that, we're talking, a collector who really wants to make a reasonable investment. Would you go for serial number parallel, or would you go for on-card auto?
That's a tough one, because there are a lot of serial number parallel cards that hold more value than the same player's autograph card, depending. Of course, you can still have the serial numbered autograph cards, but, versus a base autograph versus a numbered, parallel, I would say 8 times out of 10, I'd probably rather have the parallel, to be honest with you, which is kind of odd, but that's the way the industry is these days. Yeah.
I guess I'm fond of the playoff contenders and the rookie tickets.
Yep.
So if I was to just throw down money on a Mac Jones once that comes out. That's what I would get.
Heck yeah.
I also think that the industry is really leaning towards on-card autos because sticker autos have been acceptable for a long time, but I think especially during a pandemic, right, where you're having to ship to players and you can't always get to signings and all this stuff, I just think on-card autos are going to be a big investment.
Absolutely. I think they're more prevalent now than they ever have been, but you're always going to have the sticker autos because of logistics. The logistics demand that you have to have stickers in certain situations, scheduling conflicts and things of that nature with the players and such. So, but I think they're trying to include a lot more on-card product out there, which is fantastic for the collectors. I have noticed a lot less redemptions in products this year.
That's true.
And I think that you're right. That's probably got a big thing to do with what's going on around the world with COVID and such. So people have a little bit more time to get their cards back on time to the companies.
And sometimes when companies stockpile those sticker signings, then they can just put them on the newest products and not have to wait for redemption.
That's right.
So that's another way to go about it. Well, speaking of the NFL, so again, we're in this long 17-game season for the first time ever. They raised it from 16 games. This was probably the worst possible year to do this because the teams are stretched so thin. Just today, Dalvin Cook from the Vikings is on the COVID protocol list. Travis Kelce from the Chiefs is on the COVID protocol list.
Yep.
These teams are ravaged. And
Cleveland this last weekend. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was to the point where they had to move games to Tuesday. And really, honestly, the players had to be very vocal to the media and through social media to get the league to do it because there's just so much commercial money, TV money, ticket sales, revenue. They just did not want to move to Tuesday night, even though you might see them in the future. I wonder if the ratings were good enough. Why not spread it out?
Yeah,
because
why not flex it?
Yeah, why not? Because if you have so many games Sunday, once they could use it as a flex, not necessarily for medical emergencies like this, but as a flex to where you get good teams playing Tuesday late in the season.
Sure.
As long as they don't have a sharp, Thursday night turnaround, obviously, which the NFL may not be past doing that. Because in the past, they don't really give these guys a lot of rest or time off. But the playoff picture, it's still really cloudy. I was looking at all the standings, both AFC and NFC. NFC is slightly more top-heavy throughout the divisions. But AFC.
It's like 2/3 of the entire league is still in contention for the playoffs. It's unheard of.
Yeah.
I think that there was some record set where at this point in the season that there's more teams that have had at least 6 wins or 7 wins than at any other time in NFL history. So you talk about parity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's what we desire and strive for in this business is parity because it creates so much excitement, the uncertainty and such surrounding the playoffs. It's so cool to have so many teams that are still in contention right now.
And I wish I could say that the Houston Texans weren't one of the 8 that are already out of it, but they are. However, their cohort in AFC South, the Colts, they are really thriving in this parity right now. And you talk about Jonathan Taylor. This guy, he is crawling up the charts for young players 1, 2, 3 years with amount of touchdowns. He's making the list with Earl Campbell, Eric Dickerson. It's crazy.
He's phenomenal. And Indianapolis sent the most players to the Pro Bowl this year with 7.
Did. Yeah. So, and they had a very impressive win over the Patriots, 27-17, which also makes the Chiefs in the conference top spot in the AFC. However, the Chiefs, like I just said, Travis Kelce, among others. It's going to look pretty thin on these rosters coming up, and we love watching the sport. We hope everyone's safe, but they're really getting taxed on this, and there's been a lot of controversy Of course, that virus is just still tearing through sports and tearing through the league.
The entire world right now.
One virus in the NFL was eradicated, though, and that was Urban Meyer for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Preston, we talked about, we have similar backgrounds, watched similar sports, followed similar teams.
Yeah.
I've never heard a story like this or seen it play out. And, of course, I haven't seen it play out because I believe there's only 3 other coaches that couldn't even make it past their first NFL season. 13 games in, they're like, no, this is not worth it. They had Trevor Lawrence. They had Urban Meyer coming in thinking, okay, we got our coach, we got our quarterback. He was impeding the growth of the quarterback. He was impeding the growth of the team. He was doing stuff like having meetings and making the assistant coaches stand up and repeat their resume and say why they're worthy of working for him.
Yeah.
And then
kicking kickers in the leg.
Oh, that was the final straw. Like we don't know if that was known about by the team.
Yeah.
But their former kicker Lambeau claimed that he was kicked.
Yeah.
The kicker was kicked by the coach at practice. I also heard that he would not call special teams players by their names. He would just call them kicker or holder or
well, I think probably the only people in the entire country that are upset he got fired are their last names are probably his family members, I would assume.
Well, his wife's man.
Yeah.
After what happened, but
yeah, you that right.
But
what a train wreck.
But I was also talking, we know about the public display and all that stuff, but from a coaching standpoint and respect, it just really makes you wonder what kind of tactics was he using on young men?
Yeah.
I'm
really curious to see how they bounce back next year. Not necessarily this year. I think he may see a little turn of the corner, from Trevor. But the true impact, we're not going to know for a while. Hopefully it hasn't set him back too far because I still think he's a very talented quarterback and he's got a lot of room to grow. So let's hope they can figure things out in Jacksonville.
And speaking of true impact, can you imagine if he would have kicked a 320-pound defensive tackle instead of a kicker?
Yeah.
But anyway, that's done. I really hope, the Jaguars have always been a Texans rival. We need to grow. They need to grow. I want it to be fun. We know the pain of finding a quarterback. They really invested in Trevor Lawrence, the owner has. And I will say, to his credit, Trevor Lawrence sounded like a leader when being questioned about this stuff. This is a very young guy, fresh out of college, going through all this turmoil. He found the right words, and he wants to lead this team.
Yep.
I mean, he just, and I think it's possible.
Absolutely.
So they're going to move past that, and now it's just a matter of just moving on.
Finding the right pieces. Yep.
And, now there's new rules where if you have like lame duck coach situations, you can go after a new coach, or you can go ahead and terminate a coach's contract early. So there might be a certain coach of the Houston Texans that kind of looking both ways right now, hoping that he's got a job. Because we're in a similar situation, but that guy is a class act, no drama, but just the team is not performing. We're going to have to go in a different direction.
I think that the team is probably going to go in a different direction next year, most likely. Only time will tell, but just from everything that I've observed this year, I don't think he's a long-term solution at all. So.
And then speaking of coaching, a couple of MLB announcements. The Mets hire Buck Showalter.
Yeah.
Talk about a class act and a really great leader.
Fantastic manager, yeah.
And then the A's have already replaced Bob Melvin, and they did so within the organization. They moved up the third base coach, Mark Kotsay, to manage. And unfortunately, that's all the baseball news we have now because we are in a lockdown for the first time in 26 years of work stoppage. So you're not allowed to sign players, do anything really player related, just management and up. So
so baseball's on the back burner for a couple of months.
It's on the back burner. We hope it's not too long of a winter. We hope the players union doesn't pop up, see their shadow, and run back for 6 months. And we know each other's pain following Houston sports, and I just still cannot get over how good the Astros were the last time we had an actual strike.
Yep, absolutely.
And had Bagwell not broken his hand, had we not gone strike, that we would not have to wait until 2005 to go to the World Series in my opinion.
I agree.
And we already talked about COVID tearing through the NFL. It's affecting college football. A&M has had to bow out of their bowl, of the Gator Bowl.
Yeah.
So they're
Very disappointed.
Yeah, they're gonna. Looks like Rutgers might replace them, but they're the first football team to have to just drop out altogether because of just losing so many players. Now it's happening in the NBA, and it's happening to the point where the Celtics had to not only sign Justin Jackson, who's like a journeyman, to a 10-day contract. He's, when I say journeyman, I mean he's barely been in the league. He's already been with Sacramento, Dallas, Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, now Boston.
Yeah.
But then, just when I thought, and that makes sense when you're trying to like just find someone to put on your uniform and play. But the one that really got me, they signed Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
Not only former All-Star, but former Houston Rocket. That guy is not
Old man Joe.
He is 40. He is the second oldest player in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's played 20 seasons in the NBA, so he's certainly seasoned. But he has not played, and we don't want to talk about this game, but he has not played since Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals in 2018 for the Houston Rockets.
That's crazy.
And so... Again, and Brooklyn and the whole Kyrie Irving saga, they bring him back because they had too many players out with COVID. He immediately goes on protocols, Durant's on protocols. They're not coming off by Christmas. Harden is. But a lot of these teams are struggling to keep A players.
Yeah. They
just can't do it. And when you talk about people being able to sustain, one thing we're really looking forward to now, I think now with that Steph Curry record just out of the way, now everyone wants to know, can LeBron catch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Yeah.
And the way I saw him play with that hurt ankle the other day, I think he can do it. He's 2,500 points behind. I think probably what is more realistic is to catch Karl Malone and then just focus on that next season. He's 1,000 points behind the mailman. 2,500 points between Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But I'm going to bring this back around by saying the closest player that they have that could be able to ever catch those guys is James Harden.
Yeah.
But just think of this. He's 13,000 points behind LeBron.
That's insane.
And you think about, we never have faced something like COVID, so these players haven't, and careers haven't been up against that. So now we're just like, now you had to worry about sprained ankles, back injuries. Now you got to worry about pandemics.
Shortened seasons.
So I think when LeBron gets this record, I don't know if anyone's going to touch that.
I agree. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to get it. He's not going to retire before he gets that. And I think we said on a prior show, I think LeBron truly wants to play with his son. And I think once that happens, then he'll be comfortable and he'll call it quits at that time. But yeah, no doubt in my mind he's going to break that record. Absolutely.
And I will say, if you thought Curry's chase was highly televised, highly publicized, just wait till LeBron gets close to this. And now, speaking of chases, tell me about some new products. I want to bust some packs open.
Yeah, we've got some exciting stuff coming out next week. We've got our Bowman Draft product and Bowman's Best Baseball, what we just said is going to be on the back burner, but as far as cardboard, it's going to be on the front burner. And then we also have Immaculate Basketball. Everyone's going to be crazy about that product. It's just a beautiful product. Tons of killer swatches and patches and autographs and numbered cards. And it's one of the higher end basketball products that get released throughout the year. So that's going to be super popular. And, as we were talking earlier, HGA, don't forget, we are accepting HGA submissions every day, and we ship once per week. So if you've got any cards that you want to get slabbed, whether it's for your PC or for an investment, bring them by the shop. I'll take a look at them, and we'll let you know what we think and get your cards graded and have them look really nice in some HGA slabs.
Well, we are looking forward to the new year. Let's get
yeah,
out of 2021. Hopefully 2022 is better. I know we said that about 2020 and 2021, but we're going to think positive, and we have something to look forward on January 22nd.
Yeah.
It's the birthday of the store.
Yeah, 3-year anniversary for the Adventure Begins, and it'll be the official grand opening for the Adventure Stadium as well. So keep checking on the website and the feeds, and we've got all kinds of fun stuff lined up, some appearances and specials and all that kind of good stuff. We would love to see you at the shop.
Churros, race cars, breaks, raffles, door prizes, live stream.
You had me at churros.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. We're going to wrap things up now on Cards to Yards with our glossary term of the week. You talked about killer inserts. An insert, believe it or not, we know what an insert is. It's any card that's not a base card, right?
Yeah.
Or a parallel. But anything, one of the main inserts I always think about is Beam Team. Because they just blew out.
Oh, yeah.
Blew out of those 92
Love
Stadium
the
Club
Beam
packs.
Team.
And so insert cards got their name because they were originally inserted into packs of tobacco. Originally, just to keep the tobacco straight, they had cardboard, and then someone had the great idea, let's put pictures on it. So they put pictures on it, and then now those pictures are worth millions of dollars if it's the right player.
That they are.
Tobacco cards. So that's where they get the name insert from. And of course, those are cards added for that thrilling chase we were talking about, in addition to all the base cards. That's all we got. Thanks, Preston.
Hey.
I'm Mark. This has been Cards to Yards for Adventure Stadium, part of the Adventure Begins Comics and Games. Back to you, Chaz.
On behalf of myself, Preston, and Mark, thanks for watching Cards to Yards, brought to you by the Adventure Stadium and the Adventure Begins Comics and Games, located on 1488 next to a big old movie theater. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.